Tech that's for the birds and bird lovers. That's our Techstination. Joining us from Bird Buddy is CEO Franci Zidar, based in Slovenia. How are you, Franci?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing, Fred?
Terrific. Well, it has been more than a year and a half, I think, or about that, since last we spoke. Spring has rolled around and birds are in the yard, and the innovations at Bird Buddy are continuing. First, let's talk a bit about the smart bird feeder that you have out today. Tough to keep in stock, I understand, winning lots of fans. Tell us about it. This is an AI-powered camera feeder.
Yeah, hard to keep up. That's one way to put it. I think it's been a pretty crazy ride for us over the past 2 years. We've, for those that don't know, we've launched a Kickstarter campaign at the end of 2020, early 2021. Which took off, right? And then since then, we were mostly focusing on building the product and building the experience that's now available. But still, 2 years later, we are kind of in that limbo of trying to have enough inventory to be able to service all the demand. But it's been a wild ride. So especially the past 6-7 months, right? We started shipping last year in October and have shipped 100,000 units in a very short amount of time. So in 3-4 months. It's been a really rewarding ride, right? Seeing people actually use it and get that feedback and try to incorporate that feedback into future updates. Really trying to kind of listen to our fans, listen to our community, and do better.
It's interesting, the design of the feeder itself. I mean, a lot of work, I guess, had to go into it to make it, I guess, durable enough for the outside. And it's got a camera that attaches magnetically, that's rechargeable. The battery lasts surprisingly long considering the amount of work that it's doing.
So it basically, it has a modular design. So there's a white module at the center that you pull out. It contains a battery, all the electronics, basically connects to your local Wi-Fi. And optionally, you can also buy a solar roof, which if you're in a somewhat sunny location, it should really power your Bird Buddy indefinitely, or you have to take it down every couple of weeks and charge it up to get it back to 100%. And then there's an AI component to it where when a bird lands, it starts taking photos and videos of the bird, and then it recognizes the species, and it creates sort of like this Pokemon Go collection for you, right? So the idea is that it's a bit of a gamified experience of bird feeding, and we like to think that we are really basically making bird watching a lot more accessible, right? Because originally, bird feeding is on a very casual kind of spectrum of the birding experience. You just put some seeds in your bird feeder and then you can enjoy the hobby. Whereas bird watching takes a lot of effort, right? And Bird Buddy kind of makes that a lot of effort, really kind of effortless for the customer and the user.
Well, how did this come about, Franci?
I think it kind of had to happen the way it happened. So I've been building products before that were all in the space of gamifying the outdoors, right? So kind of creating experiences in the outdoors that would get people to go out and enjoy nature and wildlife and their surroundings. And then built a couple of companies around that. But ultimately, 2019 December. I was sitting down with an old friend of mine, drinking some beer, and he just throws out this idea of a birdhouse with a camera, right? And I immediately got struck by it because I was very much in the mindset of kind of building these real world experiences and trying to get people to go out. And in that moment, realizing that birds are such a beautiful vehicle to do that, right? To get people excited about nature, to get people excited about wildlife and the nature that's all around them. It kind of had to happen the way it happened, because a lot of us that were kind of keen those early, weeks, months, and years stumbled on each other, or at least it feels like it. But at the end of the day, I think it just had to happen.
Stumbled on each other after a few beers, and look what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yep.
So you have the feeder out now. The Bird Buddy feeder out, and it retails for what, about $249?
It's $199 for the main unit. Right now, if you buy it on the website, it will retail at $249 as soon as we have it in stock. And then if you buy a solar roof add-on, it's $259 altogether.
Terrific, and that keeps it going indefinitely if you have some sun. That's That's great. So tell us, you've got more products on the way. Give us the overview. What's new?
So basically, BirdBuddy's launching a couple of new products this year, focusing all around summer birding. So while bird feeders are great for kind of spring, winter, autumn, seasons, during the summer, what birds really need is water, right? And especially if you're into hummingbirds, and who isn't, BirdBuddy as is won't really help you out with that. So we're announcing a hummingbird feeder and a bird bath that will launch this year, and a Kickstarter campaign is going live in May to support those two product launches, as well as a kind of an extended portfolio of products that should allow you to better mount your BirdBuddy. So like a pole mounting station, and we're really looking at this as building kind of a space in your backyard for all of your BirdBuddy products, and for your desire to engage with wildlife around you and to support the biodiversity in your backyard.
And are you calling that an oasis, or what are we going to call it?
Yes. So effectively, it's a wildlife oasis. And the idea is that it combines a couple of, so one thing is you providing sustenance, like nectar for the hummingbirds, water, seeds in your BirdBuddy, right? The smart bird feeder. But then ultimately, there's this growing trend of people building pollinator gardens in their backyard, right? Where people buy native plants and seeds and berries, and they plant them because the only way to really support your local biodiversity and help out your backyard wildlife is by actually providing them a little bit of a shelter and space for them to live in and eat off of, right? So we're trying to combine those two things together and allow you to build kind of a wildlife oasis in your backyard that, one, allows you to support the biodiversity, and then the other one is to engage with it, right? To actually engage with the birds and the hummingbirds, squirrels, right? We spoke a little bit about that earlier, and also support them. So engage and support, right? That's kind of the idea that we're building these products around.
Right. So, I mean, it is my bird buddy, but it could be my squirrel buddy too, right? I mean,
Yeah, totally.
you get a lot of images of squirrels. I mean, we've had some experience with it here, taking a look at the product, which is terrific. And the squirrels don't give up easily.
They don't. Yeah. They're very
They're
persistent. Yeah.
and athletic and everything else, smart,
Yes.
athletic, etc. So these will arrive. When do you have a target date for when you're shooting for the Kickstarter?
So we're shooting for the Kickstarter for next month, and then we're shooting for manufacturing and shipping by the end of the year. So basically, end of Q3 or Q4 is kind of the time frame we're looking to actually have those products be available. But the Kickstarter is going live in May.
Tell us about the challenges of keeping the existing product in stock and what people who want to get their hands on one can expect.
Totally. So we have been in pre-sales for a long time, right? We've kind of accumulated a backlog of about 100,000 orders up until October last year. We have shipped all of those orders, and I've been back in pre-sales since December. So December, January, February, March, and now April, right? And we have just kicked off manufacturing a couple of weeks ago. So we have a new round of product coming in May, and that should get us into a point where we're clear through all the backlog, and we'll have units ready to ship pretty much overnight by June, right? But it has been a challenge. So, the fast pace of growth and all the demand, which obviously is a beautiful thing for us, and it's great to see that people love the product so much. At the same time, it does create some challenges in us actually keeping up with that, right? So we have now gotten into a really good position, and pretty much May should be the last month that we are in this kind of pre-sales mode. After that, we should have enough stock ready to go until the end of the year and after.
Tell us a bit about the camera that's built in, and I assume you might use the same one for the hummingbird feeder.
Yes, yeah. So basically, it's a 5-megapixel camera and can do 1080p video streaming. It has a wide dynamic range, and it's designed to actually focus on an area that's roughly 5 inches away from the camera, right? So it's actually made to create like these beautiful first-person view, very selfie-like photos of birds, right? and it creates some beautiful shots. It's really designed around daytime use, right? So you won't be able to get photos during the night, but during daytime use, I think we've actually surprised. We continue to be surprised by what kind of beautiful photos our community actually takes and shares with us on our Facebook or other social channels. Yeah, that's about it. I think we're still trying to get this the setup optimal, right? We're learning and taking in feedback from our customers. We've made a ton of improvements since launch, but I do think we're now kind of approaching that point of diminishing return, right? Photos really tend to be very beautiful, so we're kind of happy with that at this point.
And the photos are not stored. There's no memory card slot on these, right? So
Yep.
they're all transmitted via Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's all cloud-based, and kind of the advantage of that being that you can actually go away, right? You can put this in your vacation home, or you can put it, in your backyard, and you'll always have a steady stream of bird notifications and bird postcards coming in, right? So you don't have to actually go and collect photos by going to your device and taking out an SD card and then loading it to your computer or anything like that. We really try to design this experience end to end to be great for our customers, right? And the only way we can do that is we can kind of control that experience from when the photo gets taken to when you actually receive it. So no SD card and no plan to have one, because no other way we could actually control the experience to the extent that we do, right?
Just terrific. For more information, where's the best place to go?
So for more information, you can go to mybirdbuddy.com. This is our website. We also have a really awesome Facebook community, BirdBuddy official community, that people can go and check out. Yeah, if you're interested in beautiful photos of birds without actually buying the product, you can go to live.mybirdbuddy.com. and you can see a live view of photos as they get taken throughout the world, right? So we have a lot of bird buddies in US, Canada, Europe, even South Africa, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and so on. So pretty much around the world, right? And you can go to live.mybirdbuddy.com and you can enjoy that content in real time, effectively.
And you provide a lot of information for people too, about the kinds of seeds or food to put out. And
totally. Yeah, so for every bird that you unlock, you get access to a profile of that bird. And that profile consists of information like what kind of food that bird eats, how does it sing, so you can actually recognize that bird when you're out and about. A ton of other kind of, or I should say, I think it's a good mix of educational but fun content, right? Because if you get into birds, you can get really specific, right? And things can get pretty deep pretty quick. So I like to think that we try to keep a fun mix of content that's not too dry and too deep, but also that is engaging and meaningful to our users. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the success and the mission. The site again is mybirdbuddy.com. Franci Zidar, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Fred.